That was Rolo.
Yeah.
Hence why they call you Blade.
I thought I'd do something different. I want to show Stan some range and imagination.
What'd you do, poison him?
Woo!
In Biloxi, Mississippi, a former Marine named Charlie Swift, honorably discharged, uses his combat skills in a very different line of work. Instead of serving the law, he operates outside it, working as both a fixer and a hitman for the notorious crime boss Stan Mullen. Over the next 20 years, Charlie completes every assignment with flawless precision, never questioning orders or motives. His efficiency and professionalism earn him the nickname Fast Charlie, known for clean, calculated executions and sharp problem solving. As time passes, Charlie builds a strong bond with Stan, a man who has controlled the underworld for nearly 5 decades. He becomes one of the most trusted and respected members of Stan's organization. Along the way, he also forms a close working relationship with Benny Morn, the man in charge of Stan's strip clubs, often teaming up with him to handle sensitive situations. But things begin to change. Stan's age starts catching up with him, and his memory begins to slip. The once feared boss grows weaker, spending most of his time confined to his estate and only stepping in for major decisions. Thankfully, the powerful crew he built over the years keeps everything running smoothly, protecting his empire and ensuring nothing significant happens without his approval. Still, Charlie feels the decline deeply and takes it upon himself to personally care for Stan, going above and beyond to safeguard both the man and everything he's built. Despite spending 2 decades as a contract killer, Charlie lives a surprisingly quiet and controlled life, keeping to himself in a peaceful suburban home in Biloxi. One morning, inside his spotless house, he calmly gets dressed, sips his coffee while reading the newspaper, and prepares to head out, this time for a job that feels different from his usual routine. Normally, Charlie works alone, but under Stan's orders, he's assigned to supervise a reckless young thug named Blade. The kid has been tasked with killing a shady figure named Roll Kramer and delivering the body to an up-and-coming crew leader from New Orleans, known as Beggar Marcado. Charlie isn't happy about it. He tries convincing Stan to let him handle the job solo, but Stan refuses, so now he's stuck waiting around for Blade. As he waits, frustrated by the delay, Charlie scrolls through photos on his phone, images of quiet Italian villages. He gets lost in them, imagining a life far away from violence, somewhere peaceful where he can finally start over. Stan.
Stan.
Yeah,
He's late.
it's alright, I'll be there, okay?
Moments later, Blade finally arrives, carrying a box of donuts and rambling about his brilliant plan to lure their target out. Without wasting more time, the two of them head off together toward Roll's house. As they drive, Charlie can't help but judge Blade's careless attitude. He questions how anyone could trust someone so sloppy and unprofessional with a job like this. Soon enough, they arrive at Roll's house. Charlie stays in the car while Blade hops out and heads inside. But instead of doing things the straightforward way, like quietly taking out the target, Blade simply hands over the donut box and rushes back. Back in the car, Charlie is clearly confused.
That was Rolo.
Yeah.
Why didn't you stab him?
Before Blade can properly explain, the answer comes in the form of an explosion. A bomb detonates inside the house, revealing Blade's reckless plan. Disgusted by how sloppy and chaotic the situation has become, Charlie rushes inside, following the panicked movement to see if the job was actually completed. Inside, things are worse than expected. Roll's body is found, completely decapitated. How's Beggar supposed to know it's him without a head? Switching instantly into problem-solving mode, Charlie starts thinking fast. He calls Benny, explains what went wrong, and assures him he'll handle everything without dragging Stan into the situation. He then asks if there's anyone connected to Roll nearby who could help confirm the identity of the body. Within moments, Charlie gets an answer, Roll's ex-wife, Marcy Kramer, who works as a taxidermist. Without wasting time, Charlie loads the body into the car and drives over to her place with Blade. When they arrive, he tells Blade to stay put outside while he handles things himself.
Wait in the car, Donut.
Charlie is slightly thrown off by how calm and unaffected Marcy seems upon hearing about Roll's death, almost as if she had been expecting it all along. Ignoring the odd reaction, he asks if they can talk inside. Once Marcy invites him in, Charlie steps inside her home and is immediately struck by the many taxidermy displays covering the walls. The room is filled with preserved animals, each one frozen in time. For a moment, Charlie becomes distracted, studying the pieces closely. There's something about them, the lifeless eyes, the stillness, that seems to resonate with him, almost like he sees a reflection of himself in them. Shaking himself out of the moment, Charlie refocuses on the task and explains the situation. He tells Marcy that Roll's death was ordered to settle tensions with rival groups in New Orleans who had been affected by Roll's operations. Then he gets straight to the point. He made it back here, and this happens to be my boss's territory. After some hesitation, Marcy agrees to help identify the body. She walks outside with Charlie and examines it carefully. Within seconds, she finds a tattoo and confirms what they needed to know. The body is indeed Roll's.
Oops.
Bet you didn't know Beggars and Rolo were soulmates at Angola.
Caught off guard by how chaotic everything has become, and by Blade's poor judgment, Charlie decides to just follow through with the plan, hoping not to make things worse by pushing the unstable kid any further. Blade jumps back into the car, already talking about his bright future, and starts driving off recklessly. You worked with him before? No, first time. He's high, right? Who drives like that? Suddenly, things get even worse. The trunk catches fire, destroying Roll's body and making identification impossible. Thinking quickly, Charlie notices that Blade and Roll have a similar build. That sparks an unusual idea.
Is it your brother, the tattoo artist? Maybe he could, you know...
It's exactly this kind of quick, unconventional thinking that earned Charlie his reputation as a fixer. Once the situation is cleaned up and the evidence is handled, Charlie returns home. He showers, then spends a few hours reading about soul mapping and reincarnation, quietly wondering if someone like him could ever get a second chance. There's something unsettling about how normal all this has become for him. Later that day, as part of his usual routine, Charlie visits Stan at his estate. He cooks him a proper meal and sits down to eat with him, keeping him company. For hours, Charlie patiently stays by Stan's side, gently helping him through moments where his memory slips. I can really taste the lemon. Yeah, that's because it's lemon. After dinner, Charlie tidies up the kitchen, carefully labeling the leftovers and placing them in the fridge so Stan can easily find them later. It's difficult for Charlie to see the man who once ruled everything now so fragile, but he stays committed. Before leaving, he makes sure Stan is settled into bed, silently promising himself he'll continue to look after him no matter what. It's handled. Afterward, Charlie returns to work mode. He takes Blade's body to a junkyard, planning to pass it off as Rawls. There, Beggar is waiting with his crew. Beggar examines the body closely, searching for the tattoo. Once he finds it, he's satisfied that the job is done. Without hesitation, he orders his men to dispose of the body in a nearby lake filled with crocodiles. Good work. I tried setting up a meeting with him, but he never got back to me. Charlie collects his payment and then keeps his word, heading over to Marcy's house to give her share. During the drive, Charlie reflects on how reckless and undisciplined the new generation of criminals has become. He can't help but think about how dangerous things will be once people like them take control. First time Roll ever gave anything back in that relationship. Appreciate it. With the situation finally handled, Charlie prepares to leave Marcy's place for good, but just before walking away, he stops himself. Instead, he asks her out to dinner, to celebrate how they managed to pull off such a complicated job. Curious, Marcy agrees. The two head to one of Charlie's favorite small Italian restaurants. Over a good meal, they begin to open up to each other. Charlie shares his passion for cooking Italian food and explains how he fell in love with the culture during his time stationed there in the military. Marcy is surprised to hear that side of him. In return, she talks about her work as a taxidermist, explaining how she sees it as a way to give lasting form to creatures that never truly got a fair chance at life, preserving their presence and dignity. I want that animal to stay with people, even in their dreams. That's actually pretty fascinating. As the evening continues, Charlie finds himself more and more drawn to Marcy, her perspective on life, her honesty, and the way she calmly accepts things most people would struggle to face. They keep talking, exchanging stories, and enjoying the moment, forming a connection neither of them expected. At the same time, trouble begins brewing in the underworld. Beggar starts making bold moves that threaten the balance of power Stan has maintained for years. Rumors begin to spread that he's no longer content staying in his position and is now looking to expand his reach beyond New Orleans. This shift doesn't sit well with the old guard, especially given Stan's weakening state. As whispers of ambition and betrayal grow louder, it becomes clear that something bigger is coming. A storm is building beneath the surface, one that could shake everything Charlie has spent his life protecting. Soon, Beggar's growing ambition begins to have real consequences. As Charlie goes about his usual routine, he starts noticing the signs that something isn't right within Stan's operation. Tension spreads through the crew and trust begins to break down. At the same time, Beggar quietly takes out key figures connected to Stan, weakening the organization piece by piece from the inside. Charlie senses the shift and starts putting everything together. It becomes clear that Beggar isn't just making small moves, he's planning something much bigger. With Stan no longer strong enough to lead the way he once did, Charlie realizes the responsibility may now fall on him. If someone doesn't step in soon, everything Stan built could come crashing down. Knowing a final clash is unavoidable, Charlie begins preparing for what lies ahead. As the conflict between Beggar and Stan's remaining crew intensifies, he steps forward to defend what's left of the Empire. Using all the experience he's gained over the years, Charlie makes careful, calculated moves, determined to stop Beggar before things go too far. At the same time, his growing bond with Marcy offers him a glimpse of a different future, one that isn't defined by violence or bloodshed. But as everything starts to unravel, Charlie is forced to make a choice: stay loyal to the life he's always known, or take a chance on something new. In the end, with everything at stake, Charlie lives up to the name Fast Charlie. navigating the chaos with precision, control, and unwavering determination. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more movie recaps.